In previous class, prokaryotic cell we completed. Eukaryotic cell. What is eukaryotic cell? Nuclear membrane present. ये మాటలద్దు. Nuclear membrane present around the nucleus, that cell is called as eukaryotic cell. Because of nuclear membrane, true nucleus present. True nucleus present in eukaryotic cell. Examples of eukaryotic cell: plant cell, next animal cell, human cell, fungal cell, algal cell, except cyanobacteria, remaining all algae. So for prokaryotic cell we explain bacteria. For eukaryotic cell we are taking the plant cell. See, imagine this is one matured plant cell. Imagine this is matured plant cell. Matured plant cell, outer layer cell wall, below the cell wall cell membrane is present. In matured plant cell, the outer covering layer cell wall, and below the cell wall cell membrane is present. See, inside the cell membrane some transparent fluid or colorless fluid is present. Inside the plant cell some transparent fluid or colorless fluid is present. The transparent fluid or colorless fluid is called as cytoplasm. In matured plant cell, 90% of inner space is occupied by the vacuole. One large vacuole is present. Inner 90% of plant cell is occupied by the vacuole. And this vacuole pushes the nucleus to one end. See, this is the nucleus. And from this nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, ER, just near to endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex is present. Which one is present? Golgi complex present. And in cytoplasm, lysosomes present. And in cytoplasm, mitochondria present. Mitochondria present. And in cytoplasm, chloroplast present. And in cytoplasm, microbodies. ఇవన్నీ చదువుతాం మనం. So these are the cell organelles are present. These are the cell organelles present in plant cell. Clear? So first starts with enna cell wall. Outer covering layer endina cell wall. So here first one is the cell wall. What is cell wall? For example, this is the plant cell. The outermost covering layer of matured plant cell is called as cell wall. The presence of cell wall is the characteristic feature of plant cell. In animal cell, cell wall is absent, but around the plant cell, which one is present? Rigid wall is present. It is the cell wall. Generally, cell wall is the dead one, and the cell wall discovered by the scientist Robert Hooke only. Cell discovered by scientist Robert Hooke. Cell wall discovery credit also goes to Robert Hooke. It is the living or non-living, it is the dead one, non-living one. See, for example, take one young plant cell. Generally, before going to that one, see, generally cell wall is made up of 3 layers now. Generally, cell wall is made up of how many layers? 3 layers. First one is the middle lamella. Next, primary cell wall. Secondary cell. So, generally, the cell wall is classified into 3 layers, means cell wall is made up of 3 layers, middle lamella, primary cell wall and secondary cell wall. Cell wall is made up of how many layers, Nana? 3 layers, which include middle lamella, primary cell wall and secondary cell wall. Middle lamella అని అంటే చూడండి బాగా అర్థం చేసుకోండి. See, this is the plant cell. In plant cell, outermost covering layer is called as middle lamella. Middle lamella అని అంటే నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్టూడెంట్ ప్రైమరీ సెకండరీ మధ్యలో ఉంటుంది అనుకుంటారు. Middle lamella is the outermost layer. See, this is the middle lamella. This is the middle lamella. Outermost covering layer of plant cell is the middle lamella. Below the middle lamella, see, green color రాస్తున్నా. Below the middle lamella, whatever layer is present, it is the primary cell wall. And below the primary cell wall, see, below the primary cell wall, whatever layer is present, it is the secondary cell wall. It is the secondary cell wall. సో ఒక సెల్ని తీసుకుంటే అవుటర్ మోస్ట్ ఏముంది? బిలో ది మిడిల్ లామెల్లా ప్రైమరీ, బిలో ది ప్రైమరీ సెకండరీ. సార్ మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఏం చెప్తారంటే మిడిల్ లామెల్లా ప్రజెంట్ బిట్వీన్ ప్రైమరీ సెల్ వాల్ అండ్ సెకండరీ సెల్ వాల్ అంటారు. బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ప్రజెంట్ బిట్వీన్ ది ప్రైమరీ సెకండరీ, ఇట్ ఈస్ ద అవుటర్ మోస్ట్ లేయర్. మళ్ళీ మిడిల్ అనే టర్మ్ ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేశారు? వై పర్సన్స్ ఆర్ యూజ్డ్ ది టర్మ్ మిడిల్? సి, లిజన్, ఇమాజిన్ this is the another cell. Imagine, just imagine, this is the another cell. Another cell lo kuda outermost layer enti? It is the middle lamella. Below the middle lamella em untundi? Primary. Below that one, secondary. See, this is the middle lamella of this cell. This is the middle lamella of this cell, correct? Ante this middle lamellas are present between the two cells. This middle lamella present between the two cells, that's why I used the term middle. But individual cell this between, when you compare two adjacent cell, it is present in the center. But individual cell తీసుకుంటే, if you take the individual cell, outermost covering layer is the middle lamella. Clear? And see, this middle lamella is made up of, in case of this middle lamella is made up of calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. It is made up of calcium pectate and magnesium pectate, and primary cell wall is present with cellulose and hemicellulose. Secondary cell wall is made up of lignin, pectin, and suberin. So, middle lamella made up of calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. Primary cell wall is made up of cellulose and hemicellulose. Secondary cell wall is made up of pectin, lignin and suberin. See, listen, for example, if you can take young plant cell, take one young plant cell, in that only 2 layers are present, which include middle lamella and primary cell wall. In case of young plant cell, middle lamella and primary cell wall is present. But in case of mature plant cell, in case of mature plant cell, 3 layers present. Enti avi? Middle lamella present, next primary cell wall present, and third secondary cell wall is also present. In young plant cell, only middle lamella, primary cell wall present, but in matured plant cell, middle lamella, primary cell wall and secondary cell wall is present. Clear? Sir, what are the functions, sir? What are the functions carried out by cell wall and ante? See, it plays an important role to provide the definite shape to the cell and also participates in protection. And it is plays an important role internal transport between the two cells. So, internal transport, materials are transported from one cell to another cell through the cell wall. So, that's why shape, protection and internal connection or internal transportation. Clear? So, below, see, cell wall is completed. Below the cell wall, which one is present? Cell membrane is present. Second one is the cell membrane. Cell membrane, which is also called as plasma membrane, and this is also called as plasma lemma, also called as biological membrane also. So, cell membrane is also called as plasma membrane, also called as plasma lemma, also called as biological membrane. Where it is located? See, this is the plant cell. Plant cell is surrounded by what? Cell wall. The layer which is present below the cell wall, that layer is called as cell membrane. The layer which is present below the cell wall, that layer is called as cell membrane. See, this cell membrane is made up of lipids and proteins, and small amount of carbohydrates also. But main ga vachetvanti enti nana lipids. Wherever cell membrane means all living cells. If it is the living cell, compulsory which one is present? Cell membrane is present. Cell wall present, for example, plant cell, living cell, animal cell also living cell. In animal cell wall ledu, plant cell lo cell wall undi. Ante cell wall present or absent depends upon the type of cell. But all living cells are must and should consist of cell membrane. So, all living cell compulsory reported with cell membrane. So, cell membrane is mainly made up of what? Lipids, protein, carbohydrate percentage very less. Mainly it is made up of lipoprotein. Lipoprotein means lipids and protein. Manaku oka example gu ichchanu nanu. Erythrocyte means RBC. In case of, if you observe the cell membrane of RBC, in that 52% of protein present and 40% of lipids. And మిగిలిన 40 plus 52, 92 పోతే మిగిలిన 8% ఏముంటాయి? కార్బోహైడ్రేట్. బట్ మెయిన్గా 92% ఏమున్నాయి? లిపిడ్స్ అండ్ ప్రోటీన్. సో So this is the given question also. The cell membrane of RBC 52% of protein, 40% of lipids present. 40% of lipids present. To explain the structure of cell membrane, many models proposed, but the most accepted model, what is that? Fluid mosaic model. The most accepted model. To explain the structure of Nana, to explain the what? To explain the structure of what, Nana? To explain the structure of cell membrane, many models are proposed. But what, Nana? The most accepted model, which one, Nana? Fluid mosaic model. This fluid mosaic model proposed by the scientist or Nana, Singer and Nicholson. The most accepted, many models propose to explain the structure of cell membrane. Unit membrane model is there, sandwich model is there, Robertson model is there, fluid mosaic model is there, many models explain. But the most accepted model is the fluid mosaic model. Fluid means semi-solid. Because of lipid, semi-solid condition is present. That's why it is called as fluid mosaic or quasi-fluid model. Proposes this fluid mosaic model anna quasi fluid model anna okatena. Proposed by the Singer and Nicholson. See, according to fluid mosaic model, see, cell membrane is made up of what, Nana? Cell membranes are made up of what? Lipids and proteins mainly. Avuna? One second. So the most accepted model to explain the structure of cell membrane, that is the fluid mosaic model proposed by Singer and Nicholson. So according to this model also, the cell membrane is made up of what? The cell membrane is made up of lipids and protein. See, this red color lo undetvanti lipid. This is the lipid and these are the lipids. So lipids are arranged in two rows. See, this is one row and this is one row. That's why the two rows of lipids collectively called as lipid bilayer. According to fluid mosaic model, cell membrane is made up of cell membrane is made up of lipids and protein. First I am talking with the lipids only. Lipids present in two rows. See, this is one row, this is one row. That's why the two rows of lipids collectively called as lipid bilayer. Collectively called as it is the lipid bilayer. In every lipid, see, one lipid I am taking outside. This is the lipid. One lipid I am taking outside. In every lipid, two parts are present, head, tail. Head is capable to absorb the water. That's why head is the hydrophilic in nature. Philic means love, hydro means water. But tail rejects the water. That's why it is the hydrophobic nature. In every lipid, two parts are present, head and tail. Head is absorb the water. They capable to absorb the water, that's why hydrophilic in nature, but tail rejects the water, that's why it is the hydrophobic in nature. Thus lipids arranged in how many layers? 2 layers. The 2 layers are collectively called as lipid bilayer. See, heads baitakunaya lopalkunaya. These are the head present towards up, means it is present towards out. Always heads present outside. This is the head outside. This is the head outside. So generally hydrophilic heads present outside, hydrophobic tails present inside. According to N, see, hydrophilic heads outside, hydrophobic tails present inside. And come to the after the lipid second part is protein. 2 types of proteins are present, 2 types of proteins present. Some protein outside the lipid bilayer, this one. Some protein present outside the lipid bilayer, it is called as intrinsic protein, or these are the eccentric protein, mean external protein. Some protein, see this one, some protein present outside the lipid bilayer, mean towards up present, towards down. Upper side lipid baita untayi, lower side lipid baita untayi. Those proteins are called as eccentric proteins or external protein. But some protein, see some protein either completely embedded or partially embedded proteins are present. It is called as intrinsic proteins. లేకపోతే వీటినే ఇంటిగ్రల్ ప్రోటీన్స్ అంటారు. సమ్ ప్రోటీన్స్ ఆర్ కంప్లీట్లీ ఇక్కడ పైనుంచి కింద అక్కడ కంప్లీట్లీ, ఇదేమో పార్షియల్. సమ్ ప్రోటీన్ ఐదర్ కంప్లీట్లీ ఎంబెడెడ్ ఇన్ ద లిపిడ్ bilayer or partially embedded in the lipid bilayer, those are called as intrinsic protein. అంటే ప్రోటీన్స్ 2 టైప్స్గా ఉంటున్నాయి, ఎక్సెంట్రిక్, ఇంట్రెన్సిక్. Eccentric proteins location present both side of lipid bilayer, and intrinsic proteins are present along with the lipid bilayer, either completely or partially embedded. Sir, what are the functions carried out, sir? What are the functions carried out? What are the functions are carried out by the cell membrane, sir? Functions. They participate in active process and passive process. Active transport అంటే ఇక్కడ చూడండి అన్న, by the involvement of ATP movement of ion, by the involvement of concentration gradient. Concentration gradient మీద బేస్ అయి మూవ్ అవుతే passive. Active means metabolic energy. ATP is the metabolic energy. Whatever transport is occurred, active. This active and passive transport under the control means you transport the ion by active process or passive process. And cell membrane is బాగినండి అన్న, ఇటు చూడండి. For example, every cell is surrounded by the cell wall. Below the cell wall, which one is present? Cell membrane is present. I am taking rough diagram. See, these are the ions అనుకోండి. This cell wall allows the first layer ఉంటుంది. Cell wall allows the everything, whether it is required to the cell or unrequired to the cell, allowed by inside. But below the cell wall, which one is present? Cell membrane is allowed to inside. Which ion is required to the ion? Which ions are required to the cell? That one only allowed to inside. Other one is rejected to outside. అవసరం ఉన్న వాటిని మాత్రమే లోపలికి పంపిస్తుంది. ఏది? సెల్ మెంబ్రేన్. దట్ నేచర్ ఈజ్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ సెలెక్టివ్లీ పర్మియబుల్. లేకపోతే దీన్నే సెమీ పర్మియబుల్ మెంబ్రేన్. Cell wall allows the everything to inside, but cell membrane not like that. Cell membrane allowed to inside. Which one is required to the cell? That one only allowed to inside. Other one is rejected or not allowed by the cell membrane. That nature of cell membrane is called as semi-permeable membrane or selectively permeable membrane. It is called as semi-permeable membrane or selectively permeable membrane. So what is this, Nana? This is the cell wall. See, in the structure of cell wall, below the cell wall, cell membrane. Next cell membrane tarvata entidi cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm, Nana? Tell me, what is cytoplasm? Yeah, very good. For example, this is the cell. Inside the cell, whatever colorless fluid or transparent fluid is present, it is called as cytoplasm. Cytoplasm nothing but 70 to 80% of water with all types of cell organelle. Mitochondria, chloroplast, nucleus, vacuole, lysosome, glyoxysome, peroxisome, microbodies, ribosome, like that. Cytoplasm nothing but 70 to 80%. అంటే మన బాడీలో ఎక్కువ శాతం ఉండేది వాటరే. So cytoplasm nothing but 70 to 80% of water with all cell organelle. And every cell organelle perform one metabolic reaction, Nana. Every cell organelle perform metabolic, means metabolic reaction takes place in cytoplasm. That's why cytoplasm is considered as the living system. Cytoplasm consists of cell organelle. The cell organelle perform one specific function because of the presence of metabolic reaction. Cytoplasm is considered as the living system. And cytoplasm discovered by the scientist Purkinje. The cytoplasm discovery credit goes to Purkinje. Next మనం చదివేది ఎండోమెంబ్రేన్ సిస్టమ్. దిస్ ఈజ్ సఫిషియంట్. నెక్స్ట్ మనం చదువుతున్నటువంటిది ఎండోమెంబ్రేన్ సిస్టమ్. So after the cytoplasm, we are taking the endomembrane system. In endomembrane system, there are 4 cell organelles are present. In endomembrane system, there are 4 cell organelles are present, which include endoplasmic reticulum, ER, second one lysosome, third one vacuole, fourth one Golgi complex. These are the only 4 cell organelles present in. These are the 4 cell organelles only present in endomembrane system. Sir, under endomembrane system, these 4 cell organelles only present. Sir, why, sir? Other cell organelles are not. Why, sir? Reason compulsory. In endomembrane system, how many cell organelles are present? 4. Enti? Endoplasmic reticulum, lysosome, vacuole and Golgi. Because of that, these 4 cell organelle function coordinated with each other. Endoplasmic reticulum function coordinated with vacuole. Vacuole function coordinated with Golgi. Golgi function coordinated with lysosome. These 4 cell organelles functions are coordinated with each other. That's why only these 4 cell organelles comes under the endomembrane system. So in that, first starts with what? Endoplasmic reticulum. Simply it is called as ear. So first cell organelle is the endoplasmic reticulum, simply ER. Sir, where this endoplasmic reticulum? Reticulum anante mesh like structure or net like structure. Reticulum means net. Sir, this endoplasmic reticulum is discovered by the scientist K.R. Porter. The endoplasmic reticulum discovery credit goes to K.R. Porter. But where is it located, sir? Simple. See, ఇది బాగినన్నాను. See, this is the plant cell. Okay, plant cell outermost layer ఏంటి? Cell wall. Below the cell wall, cell membrane. నేను CM అని రాస్తున్నా. అండ్ ఇగో ఇది న్యూక్లియస్. న్యూక్లియస్ చుట్టూ 2 లేయర్స్ ఉంటాయి నాన్న, అవుటర్ న్యూక్లియర్ మెంబ్రేన్, ఇన్నర్ న్యూక్లియర్ మెంబ్రేన్ అని. నేను తీసుకున్నటువంటిది ఏంటన్నా అవుటర్ న్యూక్లియర్ మెంబ్రేన్. ఇది బాగినండి. ఇక సి దిస్ ఎండోప్లాస్మిక్ రెటిక్యులమ్ ఈజ్ డెవలప్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ వేర్ outer nuclear membrane and extended up to endoplasmic reticulum. It is the net or mesh-like structure. The net or mesh-like structure. See, the net or mesh-like structure which is extended between outer nuclear membrane to cell membrane. దీని మధ్యలో ఉంటుంది. దేని మధ్యలో? outer nuclear membrane to cell membrane. From where it is origin from the outer nuclear membrane. The net-like structure or mesh-like structure which is extended between outer nuclear membrane to cell membrane, that mesh-like structure is called as endoplasmic reticulum, first time discovered by the K.R. Porter. This endoplasmic reticulum classified into 2 types, nana. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, RER, SER. Endoplasmic reticulum is classified into 2 types, RER, SER, rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Sir, what is rough endoplasmic, what is smooth endoplasmic anante? See, this is the endoplasmic reticulum anukundam. So first, rough endoplasmic reticulum means on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are attached. Because of the presence of ribosome, the surface present in rough or smooth? Rough. In rough endoplasmic reticulum, on the surface which one is present, and on the surface which one is present? Ribosomes are attached. Because of the attachment of ribosome, the surface get modified into rough. It is called as rough endoplasmic reticulum. But in smooth endoplasmic reticulum, on the surface which one is absent? Ribosomes are absent. That's why surface present in smooth. That's why only it is called as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Sir, what is the function? Rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes. Wherever ribosomes are present, it participates in the protein synthesis only. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are present. That's why it plays an important role in protein synthesis. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, on the surface of rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are attached. Because of the presence of ribosome, rough endoplasmic reticulum, protein synthesis. But smooth endoplasmic reticulum plays an important role in lipid synthesis in plant and animal cell. రెండిట్లలో. కానీ ఎనిమల్ సెల్లో లిపిడ్ సింథసిస్తో పాటుగా స్టిరాయిడ్ లైక్ హార్మోన్స్, ఎక్కడ? ఎనిమల్ సెల్. ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ ఎనిమల్ సెల్లో ప్లాంట్ సెల్లో చూసినట్లయితే చూడండి, ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాంట్ సెల్ స్మూత్ ఎండోప్లాస్మిక్ రెటిక్యులమ్ ఓన్లీ లిపిడ్ సింథసిస్. అదే ఎనిమల్ సెల్లో చూసావనుకో ఏంటన్నా కామన్ ఫంక్షన్ లిపిడ్ సింథసిస్ అండ్ ఆల్సో స్టిరాయిడ్ లైక్ హార్మోన్స్. Plant cell, it perform the only one function, that is the lipid synthesis. In case of plant cell, this endoplasmic reticulum participates only lipid synthesis. But in case of animal cell, along with lipid synthesis, steroid like hormones are also produced by the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this is the information which related to endoplasmic reticulum. And second function and second cell organelle, lysosome. Lysosome. Lysosomes are originated from Golgi complex. వేటి నుంచి ఏర్పడతాయి నాన్న? These are developed from Golgi complex. See, generally lysosomes are spherical bodies nana. Generally lysosomes are the nana spherical bodies and surrounded by the nana single layer or single membrane. Only one membrane is there. So generally lysosomes are spherical bodies. That lysosomes are surrounded by single membrane. It is surrounded by single membrane. Because of single membrane, lysosomes are the example of single membrane bond cell organelle. So generally lysosomes are surrounded by only one membrane or single membrane. That's why it is the example of what? Single membrane bond cell organelle. And inside the lysosome, many or different types of hydrolytic enzymes are present. Inside this single membrane or inside the lysosome, different types of hydrolytic enzymes are present. These hydrolytic enzymes are active in acidic pH. Compulsory question, that is 5. Acidic pH లో యాక్టివ్ ఉంటాయా, బేసిక్ pH లో యాక్టివ్ ఉంటాయంటే దే యాక్టివ్ ఇన్ acidic pH. సో ఇన్సైడ్ ది లైసోజోమ్ డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ ఏముంటాయి నాన్న, hydrolytic enzymes present. That hydrolytic enzymes are active in acidic pH. That is the fact. Sir, what are the types of hydrolytic enzymes present, sir? Ante lipase, protease, nuclease, carbohydrates. ఇవన్నీ ఏ pH వద్ద యాక్టివ్ ఉంటాయి? acidic pH. Different types of hydrolytic enzyme like lipase, protease, nuclease, carbohydrate. These are the enzymes present inside the life. మరి వీటి యొక్క ఫంక్షన్ ఏంటి సార్ అంటే, లైపేజ్ కేపబుల్ టు డైజెస్ట్ అనకుండా బ్రేక్ డౌన్ అని కూడా అనొచ్చు. ఈ డైజెస్ట్ ది లిపిడ్స్, ఆయిల్స్, ఫ్యాట్స్. అండ్ ప్రోటీయేజ్ which capable to digest or break down the, name only answer is there, protein. Nuclease capable to digest or break down the nucleic acid. And carbohydrate digest or break down the carbohydrates. ఒక్కొక్కటి ఒక్కొక్క ఫంక్షన్ చేస్తుంది. దిస్ లైసోజోమ్స్ అండర్గోస్ wounded డ్యూరింగ్ ది స్టార్వేషన్ కండిషన్. స్టార్వేషన్ కండిషన్ అంటే ల్యాక్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ మెటీరియల్, lack of availability of food material to the plant. That time this lysosomes undergoes wounded. That's why only it is called as suicidal bags of the cell. During the starvation condition, starvation అంటే lack of availability of food to the cell. When food materials are not available to the cell, that time this lysosomes undergoes wounded. That's why lysosomes are considered as the suicidal bags of cell. And third cell organelle ఏంటిది నాన్న? Vacuole. What is the third one? Vacuole. Vacuole. Imagine, బాగా నాన్న, Imagine this is one matured plant cell. In matured plant cell, inner 90% of space, inner 90% of, in matured plant cell, inner 90% of space is occupied by the vacuole. How many vacuoles present? Only one. Inner 90% is occupied by the single large vacuole. In matured plant cell, so in matured plant cell, inner 90% of space is occupied by the single large vacuole. See, listen, this vacuole is surrounded by only one layer, this one. That layer is called a tonoplast, a very important one. Vacuole is surrounded by the single large, vacuole is surrounded by only single layer, that is called as tonoplast. Because of single layer, it is also example of what? It is also example of single membrane bond cell organelle, like that of lysosome. Lysosome and vacuole both are the example of single membrane bond. Endukante around that the vacuole only one membrane is present, that's why it is the single membrane bond. That layer is named as what? Tonoplast. And see. And inside the vacuole or inside the tonoplast, whatever liquid is present, it is called as tonoplasm. Whatever transparent fluid or colorless fluid or whatever fluid is present inside the vacuole, it is called as tonoplasm. Tonoplasm consists of water little bit, ergastic substances like tannins, resins, alkaloid something, and this tonoplasm consists of melanin pigment also, very important. This melanin pigment provide the color to plant pots. So in tonoplasm, water present, ergastic substances present, metabolic byproducts present, and melanin pigment is present. This melanin pigment which plays an important role to provide the color to plant pots. Clear? And this vacuole plays an important role in osmoregulation. Means it maintains the same concentration outside the cell and inside the cell. This is the vacuole, and fourth one is the Golgi. Golgi complex, which is also called as dictyosome and also called as Dalton bodies also. So Golgi complex is also called as a dictyosome. Plant cells లో మాత్రమే వీటిని dictyosomes అనే పేరుతో పిలుస్తారు, animal cell లో డైరెక్ట్ Golgi complex. So Golgi complex is discovered by Camillo Golgi. But the ultra structure of Golgi complex discovered by the Dalton, that's why only it is called a Dalton bodies. Golgi complex is made up of three type of structure, which include cistern, vacuole and vesicle. See, in the structure of Golgi, ఇది బాగా నేను See, in the structure of Golgi, sac-like structure, sac means bag-like, like this diagram is there. In the structure of Golgi complex, the sac-like structures are present. That sac-like structures are called as cisternae anta. This, how many cisternae are present, sir? In every Golgi complex, 15 to 20 sac-like structure or 15 to 20 cisternae are present, and they arranged parallel to each other. First one is parallel to second one parallel to third one is parallel to fourth. And these are interconnected with each other, Nana. All cisternae are interconnected with each other. And the tips of cisternae is swollen. See, the tips of cisternae swollen, it is called as Golgian vacuoles on top. The tips of cisternae present in swollen condition, it is called as Golgian vacuoles అనే పేరుతో పిలుస్తాం. ఓకేనా? అండ్ సి, ఇగో ఇదేమో కాన్కేవ్ రీజన్ అన్న, ఇదేమో కాన్వెక్స్ రీజన్. దిస్ కాన్కేవ్ రీజన్, ఇగో ఇది కాన్వెక్స్, ఇది కాన్వెక్స్ రీజన్ ఈజ్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఫార్మేషన్ ఫేస్ లేదా దాన్నే సిస్ ఫేజ్ అంటారు. ద రీజన్ విచ్ ఈస్ ప్రజెంట్ టువర్డ్స్ ది కాన్కేవ్, it is called as maturation phase or trans phase. The phase which is present towards convex is called as formation or cis phase, and the phase which present towards the concave, it is called as trans phase or maturation phase. See, formation phase is always present towards nucleus. న్యూక్లియస్ వైపు ఉండే ఫేస్ ఏంటిది? ఫార్మేషన్. న్యూక్లియస్కి అపోజిట్ ఉండే ఫేస్ ఏదంటే, న్యూక్లియస్కి అపోజిట్ ఉండేది ఏంటిది? మెచ్యురేషన్ ఫేజ్ ఆర్ ట్రాన్స్ ఫేజ్గా వచ్చాం. క్లియర్? అండ్ సి, సెకండ్ వన్ వ్యాక్యూల్ నాన్న. సెకండ్ వన్ వ్యాక్యూల్ అంటే సి, ద లార్జ్ స్పెరికల్ బాడీస్ which present towards the concave is called as vacuole. Event in vacuoles. Like that, small spherical bodies present towards the convex, it is called as vesicles. So cisternae, vacuole, vesicule, three collectively called as Golgi. This ultrastructure explained by this scientist Dalton. That's why only it is called as Dalton bodies. Sir, Golgi complex యొక్క ఫంక్షన్ ఏంటి అని అంటే ప్యాకేజ్, సిక్రీషన్ అండ్ ప్యాకేజింగ్. సిక్రీషన్ అండ్ ప్యాకేజింగ్ ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్స్. Secretion and packaging of material, and Golgi is also responsible to synthesize the lysosomes also. So Golgi first function ఏంటి నాన్న? What is the first function? Secretion and packaging of మెటీరియల్స్ను ప్యాక్ చేసి, ఎండోప్లాస్మిక్ రెటిక్యులం నుంచి వచ్చేటువంటి మెటీరియల్ను ప్యాక్ చేసి దే సెండ్ టు వేర్ ఎవర్ దే వర్క్. అండ్ Golgi ఇది ఫస్ట్ ఫంక్షన్. సెకండ్ ఫంక్షన్, ఇట్ సింథసైజ్ ది glycoproteins and glycolipids also. G and G, Golgi, glyco. Glycoproteins and glycolipids are also synthesized by Golgi. Packaging and secretion of material, and also synthesis of glycoproteins and glycolipids. So these four cell organelles are comes under the endomembrane system. In endomembrane system there are four cell organelles: endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi, lysosome and vacuole. ఎండోమెంబ్రేన్ సిస్టంలో ఈ 4 మాత్రమే ఉన్నాయి. ఎందుకు చెప్పండి? ద ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ 4 సెల్ ఆర్గనెల్స్ ఆర్ కోఆర్డినేటెడ్. ఒకదాని ఫంక్షన్, అందుకే 4 అన్నీ ఒకటే దగ్గర ఉంటాయి నాన్న, గుంపుగా, దూరం దూరం ఉండవు. సో ద ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆర్ కోఆర్డినేటెడ్ విత్ ఈచ్ అదర్. దట్స్ వై ద ఫంక్షన్స్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ 4 సెల్ ఆర్గనెల్స్ ఆర్ కోఆర్డినేటెడ్ విత్ ఈచ్ అదర్. That's why only these 4 cell organelles only present under the endomembrane system. Okay, continue, we'll see tomorrow. Thank you. Any doubts? Thank you, bye. ఏం సప్పుడు? Any doubts, please ask me. Any doubts? Thank you.